Paris freezes. Taehyung sends a secret signal to fans. HYBE and Panic Paris fell silent in an instant. One unexpected gesture from BTS's Taehyung, known worldwide as V, turned a glamorous evening into a moment of frozen tension that is now reverberating across continents. The crowd gathered for what seemed to be a standard appearance, but what happened instead was a crack in the polished surface of K-pop's most controlled image. Taehyung sent what many believe to be a deliberate, secret signal to his fans, and the ripple effects are shaking both HYBE and ARMY to their core. What exactly did Paris witness, and why does it matter so much? Witnesses describe the scene with a precision that leaves little doubt. Taehyung walked onto the stage with his signature calm elegance, eyes steady, posture measured. The atmosphere was celebratory, filled with excitement. But then, as if cutting through the noise, a single movement changed everything. Taehyung raised his hand, not in the casual way fans have seen countless times, but with a deliberate pause, a brief tilt of his fingers, and a sharp glance into the audience. It lasted only a second, yet the weight of that moment seemed to stop time itself. Phones captured it immediately, fans reacted with gasps and cries, and suddenly Paris was not cheering anymore. It was holding its breath. Social media exploded within minutes. The footage spread across platforms, dissected frame by frame. Analysts slowed down the clip to uncover every detail: the angle of Taehyung's eyes, the tightening of his lips, the barely perceptible nod afterward. Fans were convinced this was no accident. To them, it was a message, a coded gesture aimed directly at ARMY, bypassing the filters of corporate control. "This is for us," one fan wrote online. He wanted us to know something, and he chose this moment in Paris to show it. The phrase went viral, reflecting the urgency fans felt in interpreting the signal. Behind the scenes, however, chaos was brewing. Reports suggest that HYBE staff were immediately unsettled. Witnesses in the venue noticed staff members rushing backstage, speaking in hurried tones, and attempting to divert attention back to the event's official agenda. The contrast was stark. While fans celebrated the signal as a breakthrough, HYBE appeared to see it as a breach, an unpredictable act that could unravel months, if not years, of carefully managed narratives. The unease was visible, and the attempt to contain the situation only made the moment more glaring. The emotional weight of the gesture lies in its context. For years, speculation has surrounded the restrictions placed on BTS members, particularly regarding their freedom of expression. Taehyung, known for his subtle defiance and quiet strength, has often been seen as the member most likely to push boundaries in understated ways. Paris, a city long associated with revolution and artistic expression, became the perfect backdrop for this act of silent rebellion. To many, it felt less like a slip and more like a calculated choice, a moment where Taehyung broke the invisible barrier between idol and individual. As the clip spread globally, the interpretations multiplied. Some fans argued it was a warning, a silent cry that something was amiss behind the scenes. Others believed it was a reassurance, a way of telling ARMY that he had not forgotten them despite the overwhelming weight of corporate oversight. Still others suggested it was a direct act of defiance, a gesture meant to provoke the very panic it caused at HYBE. Whatever the interpretation, the emotional impact was undeniable. The gesture was small in size but colossal in significance. Paris itself seemed to absorb the tension. The crowd, initially disoriented, soon erupted into chants of Taehyung's name, voices trembling with urgency. They were not merely celebrating their idol, they were responding to him, acknowledging the signal as if they were participants in a coded exchange. The synchronization between Taehyung and his fans in that moment was so profound that even casual observers noted its intensity. The bond between idol and ARMY, often described as unbreakable, now felt like a channel of secret communication under the watchful eyes of authority. What truly unsettled observers, however, was the shift in Taehyung's expression immediately after the gesture. His confident facade seemed to soften for just a split second. His eyes scanned the crowd, and in that fleeting look, many fans claimed they saw confirmation, an acknowledgement that the signal had been received. The idea that Taehyung was silently speaking to his fans while under scrutiny only added to the gravity of the incident. Theories have now overtaken social media. Some suggest the gesture was part of a larger pattern, pointing to past instances where Taehyung appeared to send quiet signals through his body language, song choices, or subtle remarks. Others see it as the first undeniable crack in HYBE's control, proof that the members are finding ways to express themselves outside of sanctioned narratives. The speculation grows more intense with every passing hour, and the silence from HYBE only fuels it further. What makes the Paris incident particularly volatile is its timing. BTS is at a critical juncture, balancing their military commitments, individual projects, and the looming expectations of a potential full-group return. Any disruption to the company's tightly held image could threaten not just financial interests, but also the broader stability of their brand. By choosing this moment, Taehyung may have struck at the very heart of the control that has defined their careers. Was it intentional? Many fans believe so, and that belief alone has set off a wave of unrest. Compounding the tension are reports that HYBE attempted to minimize the circulation of the footage. Several fans claim their posts were temporarily hidden or removed from certain platforms, though the evidence remains circumstantial. Regardless, the mere perception of suppression has amplified the uproar. Fans are now even more determined to spread the footage, to make sure the signal is not buried or ignored. The harder the attempt to contain it, the louder the fans amplify it, a cycle that shows no signs of slowing down. This incident highlights a deeper conflict that has long simmered beneath the surface. The struggle between global icons who wish to speak freely and the corporate machinery that prioritizes control. Taehyung's gesture may have been subtle, but it has opened a floodgate of questions that cannot easily be closed. Did he risk punishment to deliver this message? Was he warning fans of something larger? Or was this simply the first public act of a long-awaited rebellion? The answers remain unclear, but the consequences are already evident. Fans worldwide are more alert, more skeptical, and more determined than ever to watch Taehyung's every move. HYBE, meanwhile, faces mounting pressure as its silence becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. Every hour without explanation adds to the suspicion, and every theory makes the company appear less in control. At its core, the Paris moment is not just about a hand gesture. It is about the fragile balance of power, the risk of truth breaking through carefully constructed images, and the undeniable fact that even in silence, idols can speak louder than words. Taehyung's signal has frozen Paris, but it has also ignited a fire among fans, a fire that shows no signs of being extinguished. The world now waits, eyes fixed on Taehyung, on HYBE, and on the future of BTS. Was Paris the beginning of something larger? Has the silent war finally spilled into public view? The stage has been set, the signal has been delivered, and the tension is unbearable. One thing is certain, Paris will not forget, and neither will ARMY.